Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're gonna read uh, the history of the Roman Empire with my silly jokes. So let's go to their history. Ancient Rome. Beginning in the 8th century BC, ancient Rome grew from small town on central Italy's Tiber River into an empire that at its peak encompassed most of continental Europe, Britain, much of Western Asia, Northern Africa, and the Mediterranean islands. Among the many legacies of Roman dominance, the widespread use of the Romance languages such as Italian, French, Spanish, Portuguese, Romanian, Turkish. No, I'm kidding. No Turkish. Derived from Latin, the modern West alphabet and calendar, and the emergence of Christianity as a major world religion. After 450 years as a republic, Rome became an empire in the wake of Julius Caesar's rise and fall in the 1st century BC. So the long and triumphant reign of its first emperor, Augustus, began a golden age of peace and prosperity. By contrast, the Roman Empire's decline and fall by the 5th century AD was one of the most dramatic implosions in the history of human civilizations. So, let's see to the origins of Rome. As a legend has it, Rome was founded in 743 BC by Romulus and Remus. Remus, I don't know which one is right pronouncing. So, twin sons of Mars, and they was born outside of our galaxy or what? Okay, twin sons of Mars, the god of war. So arrogant. Left to drown in a basket on the Tiber by a king of nearby Alba Longa and rescued by a she-wolf. The twins lived to defeat that king and found their own city on the river's banks in 753 BC. What's the meaning of BC? Is it break, caffeine? Okay. After killing his brother, Romulus became the first king of Rome, which is named for him, a line of Sabine, Latin, and Etruscan. Early Italian civilizations, kings followed in a non-hereditary succession. The 7 legendary kings of Rome, like Romulus, Numa, Pomponius, Tullus, Hostulus, Ancus, Martius, oh my goodness, Lucius, Tarquinius, Priscus, Servius, Teleus, Tarquinius Superbus, or Tarquin the Proud, and of course Edutate. So while they were referred to as Rex or King in Latin, all the kings after Romulus were elected by the Senate. Did you know? For 4 decades after Constantine made Christianity Rome's official religion, Emperor Julian, I think Julian because it's not Spanish, known as the apostate, tried to revive the pagan. Oh my goodness, so many words which I don't know with my poor English. Okay, try to revive. Oh my god, I just split it to my monitor. Okay, tried to revive the pagan cults and temples of the past, but the process was reversed after his death, and Julian was the last pagan emperor of Rome. Sorry, but I have to check this out. What's the meaning of pagan? Pagan. Meaning pagan. So pagan, where's my Cambridge dictionary? A person who belongs to a modern religion that includes beliefs and activities that are not from any of the main religions of the world. But we're talking about Roman Empire. What the heck? How it's related with modern religion? Okay, we're gonna make a conclusion that yeah. By the way, what is right pronouncing?
Pagan.
Oh, pagan. Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna read last line again. Did you know 4 decades after Constantine made Christianity Rome's official religion, Emperor Julian, known as the Apostate, tried to revive the pagan. Oh my goodness. Let's come back. Pagan. Okay, pagan. Emperor Julian, known as the Apostate, tried to revive the pagan cults and temples of the past, but the process was reversed after his death, and Julian was the last pagan emperor of Rome. In other words, he was the last emperor, which was religious, but in his own way, without following exactly some religion. I get it in this way. Okay, Rome's era as a monarchy ended in 509 BC with the overthrow of its 7th king, Lucius Tarquinius Superbus, whom ancient historians portrayed as cruel and tyrannical compared to his benevolent predecessors. A popular uprising was said to have arisen over the rape of a virtuous noblewoman, Lucrezia, by the king's son. Whatever the cause, Rome turned from a monarchy into a republic, a world derived from res publica, or property of the people. Oh, it's a definition. Interesting. Rome was built on 7 hills known as the 7 hills of Rome: Esquiline Hill, Palatine Hill, Aventine Hill, Capitolina Hill, Quirinal Hill, Viminal Hill, and Quirinal Hill. Okay, the early republic, the power of the monarch passed to 2 annually elected magistrates. I have to be sure about pronouncing. Sorry for commercial break, but I have to check. Magistrate, I guess.
Magistrate.
Yeah. So, the power of the monarch passed to 2 annually elected magistrates, called consuls. They also served as commanders-in-chief of the army. The magistrates, though elected by the people, were drawn largely from the Senate, which was dominated by the patricians, or the descendants of the original senators from the time of Romulus. Politics in the early republic was marked by the long struggle between patricians and the plebeians. It's the common people, who eventually attained some political power through years of concessions from patricians, including their own political bodies, the tribunes, which could initiate or veto legislation. So, in 450 BC, the first Roman law code was inscribed on 12 bronze tablets known as the 12 tables and publicly displayed in the Roman Forum. These laws included issues of legal procedure, civil rights and property rights, and provided the basis for all future Roman civil law. By around 300 BC, real political power in Rome was centered in the Senate. I have to fucking check this right pronouncing. Sorry for my French. Pardon my French. Because I'm not sure. It's Senate or Senate.
Senate.
Oh, Senate. Okay. English language always surprised me. Senate. Okay. Real political power in Rome was centered in the Senate, which at the time included only members of patrician and wealthy plebeian families. Military expansion. During the early Republic, the Roman state grew exponentially in both sides of power. Though the Gauls sacked and burned Rome in 309 BC, the Romans rebounded under the leadership of the military hero Camillus, eventually gaining control of the entire Italian peninsula by 264 BC. Rome then fought a series of wars known as the Punic War or Punic Wars. Oh my god, let me check. Punic? Oh, are you Punic?
Punic.
Punic?
Punic.
Where the fucking eyes? There you.
Punic.
Yeah. Punic. So Rome then fought a series of wars known as the Punic Wars with Carthage, a powerful city-state in northern Africa. The first two Punic Wars ended with Rome in full control of Sicily, the western Mediterranean, and much of Spain. In the third Punic War, 149 and 146 BC, the Romans captured and destroyed the city of Carthage and sold its surviving inhabitants into slavery, making a section of northern Africa a Roman province. At the same time, Rome also spread its influence east, defeating King Philip V of Macedonia in the Macedonian Wars and turning his kingdom into another Roman province. So it was kinda chaos of wars. Rome's military conquest led directly to its cultural growth as a society, as the Romans benefited greatly from contact with such advanced cultures as the Greeks. The first Roman literature appeared around 240 BC with translations of Greek classics into Latin. They just were stealing Greek culture. Romans would eventually adopt much of Greek art, philosophy, and religion. As Steve Jobs said, it's not a shame to steal or something like this. Internal struggles in the Republic. Rome's complex political institutions began to crumble under the weight of the growing empire, ushering in an era of internal turmoil and violence. The gap between rich and poor widened as wealthy landowners drove small farmers from public land, while access to government was increasingly limited to the more privileged classes. Attempts to address these social problems, such as the reform movements of Tiberius and Gaius Gracchus in 133 BC and 123 or 22 BC respectively, ended in the reformers' deaths at the hands of their opponents. Gaius, fucking name, Gaius Marius, a commoner whose military proofs elevated him to the position of consul for the first of 6 terms in 107 BC, was the first of a series of warlords who would dominate Rome during the late Republic. By 91 BC, Marius was struggling against attacks by his opponents, including his fellow general Sulla, who emerged as a military dictator around 82 BC. After Sulla retired, one of his former supporters, Pompey, briefly served as a consul before waging successful military campaigns against pirates and Mediterranean and the forces of Mithridates in Asia. Again, sorry if I mispronouncing some words. During the same period, Marcus Tullius Cicero, elected consul in 63 BC, famously defeated the conspiracy of the patrician Catiline and won a reputation as one of Rome's greatest orators. Julius Caesar's rise. When the victorious Pompey returned to Rome, he formed an easy alliance. Okay, let me check. My checking words pronunciation is random, as you see. Alliance, okay. When the victorious Pompey returned to Rome, he formed an easy alliance known as the First Triumvirate, with the wealthy Marcus Licinius Gracchus, who suppressed a slave rebellion led by Spartacus in 71 BC, and another rising star in Roman politics, Gaius Julius Caesar. After earning military glory in Spain, Caesar returned to Rome to vie for the consulship in 59 BC. From his alliance with Pompey and Gracchus, Caesar received the governorship of 3 wealthy provinces in Gaul, beginning in 58 BC. He then set about conquering the rest of the region for Rome. After Pompey's wife, Julia, Caesar's daughter, died in 54 BC, and Gracchus was killed in battle against Parthia, present-day Iran. Parthia. I have to check this name. Pronunciation. Then. So,
Parthia.
Parthia, okay, Parthia. Okay, again, after Pompey's wife Julia, it's Caesar's daughter, as I said before, died in 54 BC, and Gracchus was killed in battle against Parthia. It's present-day Iran, or Americans as like to say Iran. The following year, the triumvirate was broken, with old-style Roman politics in disorder. Yeah. Pompey stepped in as a sole consul in 53 BC. Caesar's military glory in Gaul and his increasing wealth had eclipsed Pompey's, and the latter teamed with his Senate, yeah, allies to steadily and undermine Caesar. In 49 BC, Caesar and one of his legions made... Oh, fucking... Okay, I have to check this. As you see, I improving my English and learning history at the same time. Legions, okay. Caesar and one of his legions crossed the Rubicon, a river on the border between Italy, from Cisalpingo, so I don't know, it's some fucking city name or whatever. Caesar's invasion of Italy ignited a civil war, from which he emerged as a dictator of Rome for life in 45 BC. From Caesar to Augustus, less than a year later, Julius Caesar was murdered on the Ides of March 1544 BC by a group of his enemies, led by the Republican nobles Marcus Junius Brutus and Gaius Cassius, whatever. Consul Mark Antony and Caesar's great nephew and adopted heir Octavian joined forces to crush Brutus and Cassius and divided power in Rome with ex-consul Lepidus in what was known as the Second Triumvirate, with Octavian leading the western provinces, Antony the east, and Lepidus Africa. Tensions developed by 36 BC, and the triumvirate soon dissolved. Oh my god, is it fucking English or what? I just get 1%. In 31 BC, Octavian triumphed over the forces of Antony, and Queen Cleopatra of Egypt, also rumored to be the one-time lover of Julius Caesar. Oh my goodness, such a whore. In the Battle of Actium, in the wake of this devastating defeat, Antony and Cleopatra committed suicide. Oh, like Romeo and Juliet. Okay, by 29 BC, Octavian was the sole leader of Rome and all its provinces. To avoid meeting Caesar's fate, he made sure to make his position as absolute ruler acceptable to the public by apparently restoring the political institutions of the Roman Republic, while in reality retaining all real power for himself. In 27 BC, Octavian oh my god, it's a Turkish pronouncing. Octavian arkadaş. Okay. In 27 BC, Octavian assumed the title of Augustus, becoming the first emperor of Rome. Age of the Roman emperors. Augustus' rule restored moral in Rome after a century of discord and corruption, and ushered in the famous Pax Romana to full centuries of peace and prosperity. He instituted various social reforms or won numerous military victories and allowed Roman literature, art, architecture, and religion to flourish. Let me read with southern accent, American southern accent. Augustus ruled for 756 years, supported by his great army and by growing cult of devoting to the emperor. When he died, the Senate elevated Augustus to the status of a god, beginning a long-running tradition of deification for popular emperors. It sounds like, old retro propaganda commercials or movies in America, because nowadays it's their accent kind of different. Okay. Augustus' dynasty included the unpopular Tiberius 1437 AD, the bloodthirsty and unstable Caligula 3741, and Claudius 4142. What is it? Size of shoes? Who was best remembered for his army's conquest of Britain. The line ended with Nero 5468, whose exceeded trained the Roman treasure and led to his downfall and eventual suicide. 4 emperors took the throne in the tumultuous year after Nero's death. The fourth, Vespasian. Okay, the fourth Vespasian. Again, I don't know the right pronouncing of this city. No, I think it's some person named Vespasian, 6879, and his successors, Titus and Domitian, were known as the Flavians. What a weird names. Now they attempted to temper the excesses of the Roman court, restore Senate. Again, what was the fucking right pronouncing? Senate. Okay, the stress to the E. Senate. Okay. So, restore Senate authority and promote public welfare. Titus. Why we don't have this kind of name nowadays, But, again, they kind of difficult to pronounce. Titus 7981, again, size of shoes or whatever, earned his people's devotion with his handling of recovery efforts after the infamous eruption of Vesuvius, which destroyed the towns of Herculaneum and Pompeii. The Rhine of Nerva 96-98 was selected by the Senate to succeed Domitian, or whatever, began another golden age in Roman history, during which 4 emperors, Trajan, Hadrian, Antonius Pius, and Marcus Aurelius, took the throne peacefully, succeeding one another by adoption, as opposed to hereditary succession. Oh my goodness. Okay. What else we have? Oliver. Okay. It's a not it's not the full story of Roman Empire. If you like to listen this kind of, history like history shit, you can please let me know in comments below, or like this video. Yeah, thank you for listening. Goodbye.